Hey everyone, I'm going to take a quick look at Galaxy Point from the final of Tour 1 last weekend. Clapham were playing against Chevron and there was a few turnovers during this point, so I thought I would analyse each of the turnovers individually.
You love that if you can pull and then be the first one down after the pull. That's showing hustle.
Briggs puts a big disc up, Barak reads it, gets the block, but it's going to ground.
So we've got cutter moving through here, stationary there. A poach from Joe Winder, so the disc obviously goes to Briggs. That's the right decision. Okay, now as he catches it, you see, I think that's Connor. McHale makes a short jab move, gets free on the open side under. And really, I mean, depending on the system that you're running on offense, that should be the pass that you take. Now this cutter here has been running around quite a lot, so it would make sense normally against normal opponents, that movement there would get his defender biting in very hard, okay? But Burak uses his athleticism to stop as the cut changes, and at this point, yeah, he's put in a couple of hard steps there, and this separation is not something you want to throw to. I think another factor that comes into this is actually what Matt Aspin is doing. So Connor makes this cut away from Matt. Matt knows that he's not going to stop this throw. Okay, he'd have to commit loads to get in there, and that would give Connor an option to go deep. So instead he hangs out a little bit. If the disc goes up deep now, he's in a fair position to go and get it. Possibly Briggs is watching the poach and thinking, okay, there's the deep cut, but there's a poach. Let me just keep an eye on that poach. Oh, now the poach has come under, which means I can throw the deep throw. So it's possible he's thinking too much about whether that poach is in the way or not, and then he takes on the throw anyway. The root cause of the turnover here is decision making. At this point, he's got the free open under, and at this point, the deep is not free, and he takes that decision. The up call comes nice and early, so he's able to look around, find the disc, and the disc would have to be very perfect to get over him and to the receiver. So he gets on nice and high. He should catch this. He might be trying to catch it. If you don't catch it ease, then it just gives the opponents another chance. Right, let's have a look at the next one. Joe Winder picks up the disc.
Winder sends it this time. There's going to be three Clapham players all saw the threat early. Lots of company in there. And
this is quite a nice deep cut here. He's running directly away from his mark. Okay, he's timed it quite well. He gets a bit of separation early on. So that's not too bad an idea to throw to. However, these two Clapham defenders, you can see they know that their players here are inactive. Okay, these guys are not in a position where they're going to be immediately a threat. So the defenders are able to focus on the other side of the field. And at this point here, this is just as the disc has left Joe's hand, they've already committed. But the field vision would be to spot these two defenders who are keen to bite, to fake that throw. When you put a believable, realistic fake in, then it gets really good defenders biting. So the result of that is that you move the best defenders on the field around away from where you want to throw the disc. Okay, so if you fake that throw, these defenders will still be gone. You've got a 3 versus 1 situation, and that's going to play out to your advantage. So that suggests the turnover is due to field vision, i.e. not seeing that these two Clapham defenders have got a bid on deep disc. Now it's easy to say that at the end of the throw it was, oh, this must have been execution because the throw's hanging. Okay, but if you rewind, then you see actually it's field vision because these players are here able to go deep. Now why are they able to go deep? And that, I would say, is because of the positioning of the offense. With two inactive players on the far side, it is quite easy to poach off deep on any long throws. It's very rare that a turnover is attributed to positioning because that error happens a long time before the actual turnover happens. But if you rewind far enough, you can see that the positioning of these players is why the Clapham players were able to poach. So the cause of the turnover is partially execution error because the throw did float, partially it's field vision, and partially it is the positioning of the offense.
oh, Barak. Oh, it's caught by McHale anyway.
So this wasn't actually a turnover, but this highlights my point about catching a D's. Okay, and again, maybe he's trying to because it's an excellent D to be able to get that position and not cause contact. And it's unlikely that the disc flies out like that as well. So pretty unlucky. Connor McHale, you can see watching the disc and then immediately reacting, planting his foot, going towards it, just getting his body towards that disc and able to make the catch. Okay, so not a turnover.
Caught by Clapham. Clapham keeping themselves in this game. They wanted to take Galaxy Point, get into the half. Raz spins it across the end zone, just enough pressure.
This turnover happened after Clapham had been on offense for quite a long time. So they might have been getting to the point where they kind of wanted to put it away, you know, getting a bit impatient, wanting to just finish it. Okay, and that's when a lot of mistakes can come in. Raz gets it, sees his receiver, put his hand up, but, you know, his receiver's not really free. He's just like, yeah, I fancy my chances. He's pointing to that back corner, which is, you know, the place where the defender's less likely to cover. And then the throw is just not to the right place. So that's partially execution, partially decision, because the throw would have had to have been deep on the break side. So it's a very difficult throw to execute. And then, yeah, just doesn't enough to touch the disc, get the D.
Tom Martin Hall. Winder available again, going to have to chase it down, but Baraki's doing the work as well. Now, good communication from Winder, but a miscommunication downfield.
So yeah, classic miscommunication. Joe Winder's getting the disc a lot in this game, and no doubt in the whole tournament. So they communicate early because Joe realises there's two of them going to the disc, and he instead then makes the continuation cut. And at that point, yeah, he's beaten his man velocity-wise. However, when the defender turns, then he thinks, oh, actually, he's covered me there, and this is a bit of a tight angle. So he stops and pulls out. That's exactly as the thrower decides to make the throw. So, miscommunication. Joe might have pulled out of that cut because he saw his defender looking back at the disc. So if that had been a fake, then Joe would have been able to get the disc under very easily.
Briggs cutting back to the middle of the field. Options deep, but they're well marked, and he's going to have to go backwards. Freeman looking static behind Barak, who's face marking. Flicks into the end zone, but it was to nobody in particular. Connor McHale almost got his fingertips to it.
So this is another turnover which looks kind of fatigued to the point it's been going on for a long time. Briggs gets it. This is a cut which is marked out the whole time. Yeah, good defense to stay tight. All right, when you're a thrower and you see this kind of defense, then you don't want to see your offense kind of running at 80% or less. All right, but that's one option. Okay, I think Briggs should fake to that option. Yeah, realistic fakes to possible cuts you could throw to will really help move the defenders around. I mean, that might get his attention, but it'll get this defender committing, create something off downfield. But instead he just kind of waves the disc at it, and then he looks over to this side, and you can see this defender as well. As soon as he realises Briggs isn't going to throw it there, as soon as Briggs turns, then the defender closes up. The reaction to that immediately should be that this player either carries on moving further away, or he goes against the velocity of the defender and attacks this space over here. However, he stays where he is, he takes a little step, and then by the time he chooses to go against the velocity of the defender, it's too late because the defender's got his position, and yeah, he's totally on him. And again, Briggs doesn't fake, so at no point does the defender have to commit to anything. Okay, then he looks at his dump, and the dump's being face marked. Okay, so the dump takes a few steps here and here, and then does the classic gesture, which is like, throw it anywhere, I'll get it. And I think that's the right thing to do. So this defender put his hands up, sure, but we can definitely throw the disc anywhere over here. Okay, if you reverse the field and imagine that this is actually in the end zone, okay, then there would be no hesitation in just leading the player out over here or over here. So when being face marked by a defender like that, the thrower should just put the disc out. Okay, however, he doesn't, and he doesn't fake. He turns around. He's thinking about throwing the hammer, and I think when he turns, we can't see it because Connor's off the edge of the screen, but I think when he turns, he has good reactions to actually not just throw the hammer, but to react and then change to the flick, because that's potentially what Connor was asking him to throw. But I'm just guessing at that because you can't see Connor. And then it almost comes off. A nice bid from Connor, very, very, very close. The cause of this turnover, I would say, is fundamentally decision making. Okay, this is definitely an option to throw to. Faking would have created more options. Okay, but the option is presented. Okay, so the decision should be made to make that throw. The decision was made not to make that throw, and that's what caused the turnover. And that was the last turnover of Galaxy Point. So here's just Chevron putting it in. Nice bit of flow down the sideline. This hammer fake, really good. So you see the cut happens here as he catches the disc. He's in good position. The defender's looking at the disc. The cut happens. The fake happens. Okay, it's a believable fake because it's to a real cut. Okay, and that would be the throw that would work. And what that does is that gets the best defenders worried about it. So Connor's already thinking, okay, if he's cut into this space, then I'm like fairly close to it. If the hammer goes, if it's a bit floaty, then I can get underneath it. So that fake goes, and Connor has accelerated a little bit that way. Okay, and then excellent cut from Matt Aspin, I believe, to react to Connor's committal there. Okay, so it's the fake created the option, and then Matt comes across and he can score easily in the front corner, but in the end is thrown to a much closer covered player, and the throw is accurate enough that it works anyway. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that quick analysis. Make sure you subscribe so you hear about future videos, and stay tuned for more. I'll see you next time.